Welcome to Becoming the Ultimate Coach with the Jock
and the Doc.
Hi, I'm Scott Schutte.
And I'm Dr. Janine Steester, and welcome to Becoming the Ultimate Coach.
We are here to disrupt some of the current thinking around how the fitness industry approaches clients. Our goal is to educate and inspire fitness professionals to get the results, income, hours, and career that they want and deserve.
Our combined experience and education in psychology and fitness create a new insight on ways to become the ultimate coach.
Welcome to Becoming the Ultimate Coach. I am the Jock, this is the Doc, and today we're going to talk about how to read your clients. And I'm excited to hear Dr. J break this down today. So why is this important to you in your fitness journey? Well, it starts off initially with the sale of the client. When they first come in, you have to be able to read them to kind of really know what they want to better serve them. It comes into the part when you're actually training and working with them for that retention, because if you can read them better, you can match the workout and overall what they're doing better. And then finally, it's just about happiness. Like, these people want someone to connect with. They want someone that kind of understand what's going on with them. So the better you can read someone, the better your business is going to be. So Janine, can you break down how to read people?
That's a big question, but I can give a couple of strategies or classifications to think about. And one of the things I want to start off with is reading a client so that you can understand them and, as Scott said, do a better workout or whatever it might be. Is not about like getting way in their business or yakking at them all the time. Some people don't like to be talked to a lot, other people do. So we're not really talking about that as much, but it's actually just trying to get a sense of what their why is for showing up to check out your facility or to be interested in training with you or what other services that you might have. And so I like to break it down into three major types. The first one is they don't care, they just want to do something and they're there just to get a workout or someone to guide them through. They can check it off their list as, yep, I'm being active, or my doctor told me to, or I'm just social and just want to do something for this, half hour, 45 minutes. And so for that person, you just want to let them know you got them. You've got something really good to offer. You'll take care of it. They don't have to think about it. And this is something they can check off. And so again, important to read that in the sense of they might not be interested in all the other things that you have and all the nuances. It's just like, yep, is this going to check my box? Do I feel like this is a good place to be? Do I feel welcomed? Great, I'm on board. So the next group is the I should do this, but all of these other reasons, it's never happened, it's never worked, I've tried this before. So it's the should but kind of client where they're talking about what they know that they should do, or again, a doctor's told them to do, or their spouses encouraged them to do. But then they're also very quick to give you all of the things and all the reasons it doesn't work, or I've got kiddos at home, or a stressful job, or I've tried this before, or nothing ever seems to work for me, or me and carbs don't get along, so I'm not sure if this is going to be helpful because if I just work out, all of those things. And I know you guys have heard that. And so again, I call that the should but client. And what I want to do there is just simplify, hear them, I hear you. This is challenging at times. We've gone through many things in the industry of different ways to do that. What we're about is figuring out what works best for you, and we'll take this slow and systematically, and so that you can give me feedback on what works best for you and what is working. And so you're educating them a little bit, but not too much, and you're just making them feel like, okay, this isn't some gigantic step, this isn't going to be like before, and we're going to approach this differently. So just again, here, listen for those words. And then the third basic type that I like to talk about is the I'm all in. What do I got to do? How much can I do at one time? And they're kind of your extreme people. They're the people that are used to everything from the dry Januaries to the very restrictive diet plans that they do for 30 days or 2 weeks. They might be that person that still thinks that you can build a habit in 2 weeks and you can make this major lifestyle change and it'll just stick. And so they tend to be intense, extreme, or they are just all in. And so for those individuals, again, you want to sit there and talk about, yep, absolutely, what are your goals, and really kind of get that goal clarification, and then letting them know that you will help them on their goal. And just start to articulate that you're just going to do, we're going to get that great workout in, we're going to look at those other lifestyle changes that you want to make, but we're going to do this systematically so that you can excel at this and hit new goals consistently. So telling them to slow down, and it's not, we don't, is not going to feed them well, but letting them know that following along with you and partnering with you is not only going to allow them to get the current goal, but also maybe hit some other goals down the road that they would like to. So again, that's just my little synopsis of ways to think about that as people are coming into your gym to explore, or you're starting to train with a new client.
And the way I like to break this down is none of these people are good or bad. It just is. And so the better you have an understanding of that, the better you can meet them where they're at and keep them going on the journey. Because that's what this is all about, is just kind of guiding them along the way. So that first example, that person that's just kind of going there to check it off, like I like to break down my clients' goals pretty consistently. And sometimes, like, I just did this recently, and a couple that train with me, they're like, we're just happy that we show up 2 times a week. And so if they're happy, I'm happy. It's not for me to be like, well, you could be leaner, or you could lift more weight, or you could be X, Y, or Z. Like, that's not on me. I want to figure out what makes them happy, what if they're reaching their goals, and if they are, then they're happy. And I've had a gym for 12 years, and some people have been training at my facility for that the existence that it's been open. And so you don't want to like push these people to do something that they're not really into, because they'll find somewhere else to go. That second person where there's a lot going on and it might seem like they're complaining a little bit, like you have to listen to them. I've had some trainers before that worked at my place that just kind of dismissed what they were saying. That's a quick phone call that I get of like, I don't want to work with this person because they're not listening to what I said. So you need to spend that time to listen and guide, but have a little bit of that empathy with that. The all-in person is the one, at least me as a young trainer, was like super excited to get, because they'll do anything I say. I'm like, hit your head against the wall. They're like, okay, how many times? The problem is, like, you'll see these might make your great like transformation people, but they're also the people that are kind of go extreme back the other way. So you can use that excitement at first and you get some big changes, but you also have to work with them of like, what's sustainable long term. So you really have to start kind of breaking that down for them, because really, ultimately, we don't want to be in this space just to help people for 6 weeks, 12 weeks. We want to be it so we can actually majorly change and improve people's lives. So with those 3 examples, you see anything that I'm missing there?
I would just add that, especially for that should but can't, or it hasn't happened in the past, is finding one small thing that has worked. Having that conversation about what has worked, even something small that you did or a change or something like that. Well, I have been walking more with my dog at night. Amazing. How long have you been doing that? Well, I started that about 3 years ago, and I really enjoy it, and I'm still consistent. And just reminding them of the things that they have done well and that have been successful. Because a big part of this, and I talk about this a lot, is that people need to, when they connect with you, to stay with you, they need to feel hope. And not false hope, not BS, not any of that stuff, but truly like, yep, I've got this. And so number one, helping them remember what has been successful and celebrate that with them. And then it also gives you a nice forum to start asking like, well, how'd you get started taking this dog for a walk more often? Did you just get a dog and then it happened? Or did you, and start to listen for the cues and the signals about what it was, what was the impetus that made this one thing actually happen and stay. You'll learn about their lifestyle preferences that way. You'll learn about things that kind of help them. Well, I put the leash right by the coffee maker every morning. And so that reminded me just to get my coffee and take the dog. Okay, great. Well, they do that. How might I get them to do something else? Gym bag by the door in the morning, or whatever it is. So you're starting to hear that. And then slowly adding on to those types of things just allows them to feel like they can do this, and that you're listening, because then you can also reference those things later when they're like, yeah, I don't know if I can do this. Like, hey, you've been walking that dog every night for 3 years. If you can do that, I know we can move this other needle. So it's, again, connecting success with that next goal. Also, the individuals that are just checking the boxes that, as Scott and I talked about, and they just want to be there, celebrating that. Yep. And just truly being about, hey, you are one of my most consistent clients that shows up every week, twice a week, or just the fact that they showed up. Gosh, I'm hearing that you're busy and you've been talking a lot about the stuff at work and all that stuff, and yet you're still here. There's a lot of people that wouldn't make this a priority, and that's awesome. And so again, just celebrating what they're doing, because then they still feel connected to you. Because I do know that sometimes trainers struggle with those clients because they're not asking for a whole lot. and they're just showing up, and you're okay, I'll write them another program or those types of things. And so after a while you can unconsciously disconnect because you're just not mindful of that. So celebrating that, talking about that, that makes them feel like, wow, you're still paying attention to them and connected and making sure that they're part of your community. And then lastly, with the all or nothing group, a lot of times think about that as a slow burn education. And what I mean by that is, now some personalities just love extremes and they love changing things up all the time. So start to figure that out with them. If they are somebody that just likes a lot of variety and that's why they always go to the extremes, then your job is to make sure that you're constantly changing up their programming and their workouts, or offering additional services where you're talking about other things like their stress management and their sleep and their nutrition. Mix it up a bit. If they're extreme because that's all they know, that's their assumption, is that you either eat like a child, as some people will call it, or I'm a health nut, and that's all they think about, like this one extreme or the other. Then over time, slowly educate them a little bit about those moderation pieces. And again, I call that the slow burn. It's going to take a while. You don't want to flood them with a bunch, but just start helping them change their perspective. So those are just a couple of hacks I like to give coaches and trainers on how to read and respond to clients.
Yeah, and so just a few takeaways as we close up here. None of these are good or bad. You just got to be able to understand where people are at. Also understand people are going to be very different than you. You might be more of this extreme side. I see a lot of trainers kind of in this one of like, all right, I bring food and Tupperware every day and I work out every day. Got to understand your clients might be in a different category. And lastly, this is why we like to have these one-on-one, individual meetings with people on a monthly basis, because some people might change of which one they're in. So if someone comes in and they're just checking a box, and then they've kind of shifted to a different one, like you got to be keeping up with that, because you got to be giving the client what they need, and that's going to keep them happy, and that's going to keep them with you long term. So that's all we have today. See you next time.